it's quite simple. You just build an HTTP request, you do a get on a specific place, and you can add the push pins that you want to display on the map. You can have polygons. I guess for the moment there's no custom marker icons, but it may come. So we have just a version 2, and you can have encoded polylines in the static maps as well, which means that you can initialize your page with a picture that may even have some polygons on it, and then go to the JavaScript interaction after that. And the good thing is that you can display that kind of image everywhere because it's an image. So yeah, the other nice thing that we added in version 2 of the static maps API is that depending on the device you're presenting the map, you will have a different image. So the image will be a little bit simplified for mobile devices because they tend to be smaller. So I don't know if you see the difference between the two maps, but yes. Yeah, the image may be blurred, but that's just my presentation. So yeah, you see the design of the streets, for instance, is a little bit simpler on mobile devices than on the real map. So it has been taken into account that a tile of a map may be different depending on the device. So yeah, it's just an additional parameter that you put in the request, and then you get the real image. The other reason why it takes a long time to load is that the JavaScript parser has to process 220 kilobytes of JavaScript code before being able to display anything. So yeah, the Maps API version 2 library is quite rich, I would say, with a lot of functions. And if it takes 10 times more time on a mobile device to parse JavaScript, you can imagine the impact on that kind of stuff. So the obvious solution would be to reduce the amount or the volume of code to parse. So what people usually do, that's something that we introduced in Git version 2 as well, is you load kind of minimum upfront, and then as you need, you load additional stuff to activate your modules. The problem with the version 2 of the API, as everything is synchronous, it's kind of difficult to do that. So they tried to, so they managed to put 40 kilobytes at the end of the process, but still, you still have 180 kilobytes. So that's really too much. So version 3 of the API addressed this issue, and the first thing is they reduced the size of the initial downloader to 35 kilobytes. The trick with the static maps API is really easy to implement in the version 3 because you have an onloaded event for the map. That whenever the map is loaded, then you replace the static map image with the real one. And it has been designed with mobile devices in mind, of course. So, as a result, it now takes 2 seconds to have the functions available, and 7 seconds to get everything ready, up and running. So it's a pretty good improvement. And here it's how we did it. We did that. Well, I didn't. How the people developed such an improvement. So yeah, the first thing is a trick with the static maps, obviously, and then the other one is that we will have a model view controller architecture, which means that you will have a model of all the objects of the map, which is quite easy to load. And then whenever you use one instance of one of those objects in the model, then you will download all the stuff that comes for how do I view those objects and how do I control them. So this means that you asynchronously load the things that you may need for the objects you are using, but as long as you haven't used those objects, you won't load the additional stuff. So if you don't draw any polyline, There's no need to download all the stuff related to polylines. That's more or less the idea. Is it clear? Yep. Yeah, so the other thing is that from an internal point of view, it is said that this approach, it's easier to debug because, well, everything is more modular and you download stuff when you need it, and so it's easier to track bugs and modify stuff. And because of that principle or schema, if we add new features, we shouldn't be increasing too much the size of the initial load, because you just load an additional model, but the view and controller stuff comes after that if you use it. So even for the future, it shouldn't grow too much, and we can rely on that approach to be able to scale in terms of speed. A few other features added to version 3, so Chrome and iPhone Safari support. No more license key, so that's good news, because they found out as well that deciphering that license key took a lot of time, so let's just get rid of it. That's usually a radical optimization, but it works. Yeah, we modified as well the geocoding API. So you have additional features on it. So now you can ask to geocode the location, but you can give some bias on it. So this means that if you say geocode me that address, you can say geocode it, but the location has to be on the map that I'm showing. So if I'm asking for Paris, I say give me the Paris that is in France or on the map when it's showing France and not Paris, Texas.